14th, 1990, at the celebration of the anniversary of Dr. and Mrs. Tharp. Let's go in and join them. What do you say? Spotted one of them here. See if we can get an interview.
With your kids, Janet, thank you so much for the wonderful music, and if you can get, we are going to do for you a few selections tonight, primarily light opera, operetta, and some Broadway musicals. And we hope that some of you will recognize some of these songs. I think the songs are the vintage of many of you who are here tonight. Daddy, Mother, it is certainly a pleasure for me to be able to do this for you, and I hope that you enjoy it. Thank you.
My day in the hills has come to an end. I know the stars have come out to tell me it's time to go. But deep in the dark green shadows are voices that urge me to stay. So I pause and I wait and I listen for one more sound, for one more lovely voice that the hills might say. Oh, what a beautiful morning! Oh, what a beautiful day! I got this beautiful feeling, everything's going my way. It's a grand night for singing, the moon is flying high, and somewhere a bird who is bound he'll be heard is throwing his heart up the sky. It's a grand night for singing, the stars are bright above, the earth is aglow, and to add to the show, I think I am falling in love, falling in love, in love with love, falling in love with, hold it, okay. That's not the key. Falling in love with love. Okay, all right, hold it, we don't have that one, okay, that's fine.
Want to pass up on
Okay,
that
we'll
one?
pass up on that one, okay. It's very, very spontaneous. Janet said there's going to be a lot of talking here while I organize all of this music, which we just gave her. And anyway, as Billy has said, I'm David Weaver, who, along with Billy and Marjorie, have been involved with Columbus Light Opera. And I'm going to kind of like talk our way through some of the... During those late golden years of the 1930s, probably the most popular singing team in America were the Singing Sweethearts, Nelson, Eddie, and Jeanette MacDonald. And now Marjorie and I are going to sing probably their most famous duet, The Indian Love Call from Rosemarie. We're going to sing it straight, not a
When I'm calling you,
I will answer too.
filled
Amigo mio, is she listening to my song? No, no, mi muchachito, how can you be so wrong?
La bella señorita,
Si, si, la señorita, she loved to sing it to it when she knew the way. But why if she may, in her voice there's a flaw, and all that the lady can say is yours. Señorita, don't kiss it, I'm not so fat as a mosquito, but this quick like my choquito, you're the one for me. There's a light in her eye, though she may try to hide it, she cannot deny there's a light in her eye. Oh, the charms of her smile so beguiled Don Diego that he rode a mile for the charms of her smile. Amigo mio, does she not have an empty brain? She listens carefully to each little thing you say.
la bella señorita,
Si, si, la señorita, she'd love to sing into it, but she knew the way. Her face is a dream, like an angel I saw, and all that my darling can scream is yours. Señorita, don't kiss it, I'm not so fleet as a mosquito, but let's quick like my chiquito, you're the one for me. Olé!
Katie, how long have we been married? Almost 13 years ago, I came to America with Katie and sang this next song at our wedding. I never thought then that I would tonight sing this song at Grace and Vernon's 50th wedding anniversary. This is a song which is from Bless the Bride, which is an operetta which I think probably no Americans ever heard of. But anybody who grew up in another country and who's into operetta knows this music. Ed Bope there, Dr. Ed Bope, played the organ so beautifully that day. And this is a song to which I wrote the words of the second verse, which Katie had never heard until the day I sang to her in church. And I don't know why, but she was all teary-eyed. This song is called This Is Our Lovely Day from Bless the Bride. I hate to break the mood, but I've got to tell you something else. That Stout-Hearted Men song that David just did a little while ago, she didn't even have the music in front of her. She said there's no music. And this song, during dinner, you may have heard that the piano stopped momentarily. I gave her this music and I said, okay, this is what we do here, and you go back there. And she said, fine. I think she's fantastic. Janet, thank you. Daddy, Mother, I'm happy to sing you this song.
This is our lovely day. This is the day I shall remember, the day I'm dying. They can't take this away. It will be always mine, the sun and the wine, and the seabirds crying. All happiness must pay, and who can tell if fate is well or the sky is lying? But to look at me and say that you'll remember too that this is our love. Okay, don't look at me. I'll remember for happiness to pay. Sad and sighing, old and dying, I'll remember how we loved our lovely day. I will leave you never. Now that you said I do, and you have given your love to me, I will never let you go. You love me with all your heart. Please tell me that we'll never part till our dying day. But look at me and say, I do, I do, I do, I do give my life to you. I'll remember, when the time has come for happiness to pay. Sad and sighing, old and dying, I'll remember how we loved our lovely day. Our lovely day. Our lovely day.
Willie had asked Margie and I, especially to do two songs which are his favorites, that the many, many programs that we have done together. And they are from Gershwin's Porgy and Bess. First of all, I'm going to do Porgy's little happy song, I Got Plenty of Nuttin', and then Marjorie's going to sing the beautiful lullaby, Summertime.
Oh, I got plenty of nothing, and nothing's plenty for me. I got no car, I got no mule, I got no misery. The folks with plenty of plenty got a lock on the door. Afraid somebody is gonna rob 'em while they's out of making more. What for? I got no lock on the door, that's the way to be. They can seal the rug off the floor. That's okay with me, 'cause the things that I prize, like the stars in the skies, are all free. Oh, I got plenty of nothing, and nothing's plenty for me. I got my gal, I got my song, got heaven the whole day long. No use complaining. Got my gal, got my Lord, got my song. I got plenty of nothing, and nothing's plenty for me. I got the sun, I got the moon, I got the deep blue sea. The folks with plenty of plenty gotta pray all the day. Seems with plenty you sure gotta worry how to keep the devil away. Away. I'll never fret about hell till the time arrives. Never worry long as I'm free. Never one that strives to be good, to be bad, but the hell I'm just glad I'm alive.
The next song is a duet that Marjorie and I will do. It's one that I know that most of you will remember. It is the waltz from the Merry Widow between Hannah and Danilo. She's Hannah and I'm Danilo.
We got sunlight on the sand, we got moonlight on the sea, we got mangoes and bananas you can pick right off a tree. We got volleyball and ping pong and a lot of dandy games, but what ain't we got? We ain't got days. I'll tell 'em. We get packages from home, we get movies, we get shows,
We get speeches from our skipper and advice from Tokyo Rose.
we get letters dust with poison, we get dizzy from the smell.
But what don't we get?
You know damn well.
We got nothing to look masculine and cute for.
We got nothing to put on a clean white suit for. Yeah, there is nothing like a dame, nothing in the world. There is nothing you can name that is anything like a dame. We feel lonely and we long for the fair and gentle sex.
We would like to feel the feeling of some arms around our necks.
We feel hungry as the wolf at Mighty Red Riding Hood.
What don't we feel?
We don't feel good.
Lots of things in life are beautiful, but rather
There is one particular thing that is nothing whatsoever shape or form like any other. Wait, there is nothing like a name, nothing in the world. There is nothing you can name that is anything like a day. Tell 'em.
there are no books like a day.
Right, and nothing looks like a day,
There are no drinks like a day.
and nothing thinks like a day.
And nothing acts like a day.
Or attracts like a day.
There ain't a thing that's wrong with any man here that can be cured
the fastest we've ever sung that. We are going to close.
When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high, and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of the storm is a golden sky, and the sweet silver song of on through the rain, walk on through the rain, till your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on, with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll soon be living in a brand new state, gonna treat you great. They're gonna feed you barley, carrots, and potatoes.
Plenty for the cattle, spinach and tomatoes, flowers on the prairie where the June bugs zoom. Plenty of air and plenty of room.
Plenty of room to swing around.
Plenty of heart and plenty of hope.
Choreography. Everybody. Oh, when the wind comes swinging down the lane, it's and everything we can sure smell sweet when the wind comes swinging down the rain. Oh, every night my honey lamb and I sit alone and talk and watch the hawk making lazy circles in the sky. We belong to the land, and the land we belong to is grand. And when we say, yo, hi-yo, hi-yo, yay, you're only saying, oh, looking fine, Oklahoma, okay. Oklahoma, yeah! Thank you.
You can see why we have all these grandchildren, daughters, standing in line to get married so they can have Billy sing at their wedding. We got one next August. I'll tell you, I think maybe we'll let you stretch a minute, but before you do that, we're going to have them serve the champagne, and we're going to just give you a chance to move around in a couple minutes if anybody absolutely has to go potty to take a little break here. And as soon as they get the champagne poured, we're going to come back and we're going to make a few toasts to this wonderful couple. And while they're serving the champagne, there are just a couple of things I would like to say. I felt like Billy's music and homicide opera music was so appropriate. And I was thinking how very apparent to me as I've gotten older the paradoxes of life are, and how many beautiful metaphors that lie all around us when we wake up and look at them. And I was thinking, as it was pouring rain and we were scared to death and thought, oh, what are we going to do, that the sun always does come out. And I think that if there's anything that I can say about Mother and Daddy through all the rainy days, or any of the rainy days, they taught us that the sun would always come out. And I think their example to us and the strength they've shown and just the kind of support they've given to us, we can't really tell them how much we appreciate that. And the other little metaphor I was thinking about, the other little thing I was thinking about, and I want you all to know that every one of these flowers on all these tables and out there floating around in the pool came from Mother's greenhouse and garden. And I think that's one of the most beautiful metaphors I noticed this week in being home. I thought of the tender love and care with which she plants those seeds out in her little greenhouse out on the farm and puts them all in the earth and takes such good care of them. Yeah.
And a lot of the flowers that you see on the grounds too came from that greenhouse.
Oh, that's true, that's true.
Don't forget Grandpa helps a lot.
That's right, and Grandpa now is doing the whole vegetable garden, right, Dad? Right. Anyway, we couldn't have had all these beautiful flowers without her, and thank you, Mother. But I guess what I was thinking about, most of all is the little seeds that she's nurtured along in the form of the 6 of us, and how I hope we've grown into half as beautiful flowers as you see around you tonight. And I know that my brothers and sisters all are with me when we say thank you for all that nurturing and love, and thank you, Daddy, for all your support.
Asked me to give a toast, and I sat in my office and I collected my thoughts and my memories, and I more or less decided that I'd have to shorten it. But I think basically, our family life boiled down to about 3 things. There was a lot of love and stability and support from our parents. With 6 kids, it was hard to spread out all that love and support, and I think we did an extremely good job of doing that. We're all approaching 39 now, I think. As for you, our guests, I'm sure that you can remember a time when Mother and Daddy have touched your lives, and you have special and fond memories of the things that they've done for you. So if you would, please join me in a toast to Mother and Daddy, and with God's blessing, and they'll have many, many years of good health and happiness together. Thank you.
Aunt Mary.
I was schooled before microphones. We were taught down home to just get up and yell loud. When Mary Jane called me for a few remarks, I pulled out my photo album, and there was the clipping of the paper announcing Vernon's marriage. And it read in big print, "Marriage announcement at Hemlock. Mr. and Mrs. Harry Tharp are announcing the marriage of their son, Dr. Vernon L. Tharp, to Miss Grace Drumheller of Windham, Ohio, at Covington, Kentucky, Saturday, July the 20th, 1940. The bridegroom's parents were their only attendants. They are now making their home in Wilmington, Ohio. And I might say my name's Mary. I'm Vernon's older sister. And I think there's another side of the coin here that we need to know before we toast them. As the good book says, in the beginning, Vernon was a student in Veterinary College and Grace was a home ec major. Now, I don't know exactly how they met. And if there aren't too many sanctimonious people in the crowd, I'll tell you the story that was told to me. It seems that Vernon and this gang of veterinarians started out to go to one of the girls' dorms and serenade them. Now you'll have to remember that this was a time when probably none of the fellas had a quarter in their pocket. They didn't have automobiles, and they'd never heard of designer jeans. So they walked over to the dorm, and knowing Grace now, I bet she was one of the ringleaders. Those girls hung out the window, and I'm told threw their unmentionables down. But I won't tell you everything, and I know there's some of their classmates here can verify this story, or maybe even add to it. But anyway, Vernon, the girls came down, and after Vernon and Grace got together, there was a considerable change in their lives. Grace lost her interest in her home ec sewing and so forth, and I knew that Vernon had a change of some kind. Grace had an older brother, Clarence, who looked after her, and he was soon down at Ohio State to look over Vernon to see if he was what Grace should have. And Clarence and Vernon just became the best of friends throughout a lifetime. Vernon soon brought Grace down to our house, and we all fell in love with Grace. And then soon Vernon in 1940 graduated from Ohio State, and he came home. He had gotten a job in Wilmington, Ohio, and he really wanted to get married. But he didn't know how to approach Daddy. So he kind of wanted me to plant the seed. And I did, and met little resistance from Daddy because, oh, poor Vernon going down to Wilmington, Ohio by himself. But Vernon's bottom line to get Daddy to condone this was, he said, you know one thing, Daddy, if I ever make a nickel, Grace will save it. And whenever we left Hemlock to go to the neighboring towns about 3 miles away, we filled them full of people. And Vernon thought, well, why drive clear down to Covington, Kentucky with the back seat empty? We'll just take Daddy and Mother. The next morning, early on Sunday morning, they had stayed at the Gibson Hotel in Cincinnati. And the phone rang in Vernon's room quite early. Daddy said, well, my land, Vernon, since we're this far from home, I've always wanted to go to Cincinnati Zoo. That's the truth, Grace says. So, bright and early, Sunday morning, Grace and Vernon spent their honeymoon at Cincinnati Zoo.
We just monkeyed around.
So they came home early because we ran a dairy and had to really get back to work. And they left for Wilmington. And I think in our family, we never considered any of the people we married in-laws. They either had to blend in or else, and they always did. And someone said that marriage is like a pair of shears or scissors. They're joined together so you can't separate them. They often move in opposite directions, and yet if anything comes between them, they're punished. And I think Vernon and Grace have had a lot of good times and bad times and ups and downs, but never any thing that didn't just strengthen their marriage. I'd like to propose a toast to Vernon and Grace, and it goes like this. Family ties are precious things, woven through the years of memories of togetherness, of laughter, love, and tears.
And he's still working, and I still respect him. And because of that, I want to be the first to tell you, Vernon, that the past few weeks, the faculty at the college have voted to name the road in front of the hospital the Vernon L. Tharp Road. Say anything about that until September at the alumni function, but I thought this would be a very good time to do that.
Let me say I never expected that.
I will tell you that it's about 90% sure. It hasn't gone to the Board of Trustees. Well, it's my pleasure to tell you that, and we'll have some other surprises, I think, in September. This is one of the fun things that I get to do is to make announcements like this. Some days are good, some are bad, just like you. But in all sincerity, we've had a good time, and Dr. Tharp, like many of you that are retired out there, have served our college for many, many years, many more than we'll ever be able to thank you for and to appreciate it. So tonight I'll propose a very simple toast that you live many more years and have much happiness.
Thank you.
I'd like to call on Dr. Keith Worley. Where are you, Dr. Worley? We better watch.
Thank you, Mary Jane. There's so many things I can remember about Vernon and Grace, and all of them have to do with, off and on, with veterinary medicine. I wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't for Vernon giving me a call in Springfield and asking me over to Ohio State University to interview for a job. And a lot of things have passed since then. He used to have some of the faculty out to sing Christmas carols periodically at Christmas time. Mary and I used to go out once in a while, we'd sing. I thought I had a pretty good voice. And then Willie moved into the family. And the next year he says, you can come out and sing, but I don't want you to sing in front of Willie. So I haven't been out since then. But we had some great times out there singing Christmas carols and around the Christmas tree, and all the family were there. Some of our fondest memories have been concerning Vernon's family. And one of the things I remember probably most of all is, Vernon doesn't lack for words. He can come up with anything, good comment, and get by with most anything when he's talking to people. He knows everyone. But anyway, Katie and Eddie over there were teenagers. And Vernon asked Mary and I to go with him to a meeting in Cornell, over at the AVMA in New York. So we were very happy to do this. And we were going into Canada, and all of us were hyping the teenagers. I remember, when you get to the border, you tell them where you live. Make sure you got your residency down. Don't say Columbus, say Hilliard. And we say Upper Arlington. Well, we kept talking about that and talking about it. So we came into the border station, And Vernon rolled out his window, and the border guard said, "Where were you born?" And Vernon said, Columbus, Ohio. And immediately, the whole car was in a roar of laughter. And the border guard looked kind of funny, and he says, "I got to talk to the lady over there." And he said, "Is this your husband?" She says, "Yes, sir." She said, "Where was he born?" "In Perry County, Ohio." And then we all laughed again. And the border guard said, "Does he know where he's going?" And Grace says, "Yes." He says, "Go." So here's my toast. Vernon and Grace, you've always known where they were going. It may take them a lot of different roads, but I think they've gotten there. And from what I see tonight, they're the richest people I know.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Dr. Rosenberger, are you?
I learned about this a few moments ago, so I too am a little bit of a loss for words, but nobody's a loss for words with this couple, I don't think. She's curved. How's that? Everyone out there will have to join together. That occurs, which I think it hopefully shall. I want to just say a few words. It's been said, and how many ways can you say it? But first of all, I'm sure that all who have spoken before feel as I do that we're privileged to be a part of this ceremony. This oft inspired but seldom attained 50 years together. You know, that's very unusual. And God, as Tom said, I hope He continues to bless you, but He has blessed you by having you here together tonight in good health. And we thank you for that, and we thank you for the privilege of being here together with you. And all the good things that have been said, I can only say amen to, but I want to not only raise the traditional glass and a toast, but also raise before you three things, which I thought perhaps, at least in my judgment, summarized what your life has meant to me, and I'm sure to many others here tonight. First of all, your compassion. I raise before you the compassion that I'm sure most all of us have felt as students, as friends, as family, that you folks have been able to, just by your very abilities to, like Popeye, I am what I am, and that's what I am. And that's a very rare trait today. And we praise God that you have shown that compassion to us. And we thank you for it. I also raise before you your consistency. Again, just day after day, being who you are and being what you are. Again, a rare commodity in today's atmosphere. We thank you for it. Your families are blessed because of it, as have all of we who are your students and friends. And finally, the encouragement and the enthusiasm. I raise that before you because that's what you've been, what you are, and with God's blessing, what you always shall be, many more years before you. Thank you so much.
Well, I've been toasted. Is everybody still having a good time? Marlon asked me on the way in, what are you going to say? And I said, I don't know. And I said, the only thing that I can tell you is that I'm going to try to say something from my heart. And I think that everybody has preceded me in that who has stood before you and toasted this marvelous couple. They're not friends or colleagues, they're family, and they have been family to many, many of us here. This union was engineered in heaven, but it's being constructed here on earth with all the things that everybody has said about them. They're building these things with the sadness and the happiness, and with the toil and the turmoil. And they always come up smiling, and the sun will rise. And they've given that to us. They've given that to us in a way that is very difficult to really articulate. but we all loved them. And it hasn't been too long ago that 25 years we celebrated their 25th. Seems like it's only been yesterday. I hope that in a very short time we will be celebrating their 75th. And in all that time, I hope that they can continue with the spirit and with the enthusiasm of the youngsters you are. God bless you. Love you.
Well, I forgot this. You know, of all the things I've lost, my mind was first to go. I don't want anybody not to appreciate that picture out there. I took that with Mother's old box camera, and then Judy has hand-painted part of it and used the faces. But when Grace was going to go to the wedding, we had to have some clothes for her to wear. And Clarence gave her $25, her brother. And Grace and I consulted what we could get with that. Well, I remembered that I had bought a car after I was teaching, and we wondered what color to get. And my dad said, Mary, you get a black one. We'll always look good when we go to funerals. Grace that if she got a nice black dress, it would go more places. And we shot for that black Georgette dress and her black clothes and her black shoes. And at that time, that was kind of an unusual color to wear to a wedding. She did get a lot good out of that dress.
Mother and Daddy, we love you so much, and we'd like to have you stand up here with Billy and Jessica because they'd like to sing My Best Beau.
Take him long to see that I'll still be found just hanging around my best girl.
You're my best beau, you're handsome and brave and strong. There's nothing which you can't face. If you're with me, whatever comes, we'll see that trouble never comes. And if someday, when everything turns out wrong, you're through with the human race, come running to me, for you'll always be my best beau.
I guess they turned it over to me and I can't leave loose of it. Dr. Worley just said he could speak on about anything, but sometimes I have to alter that with the audience. Grace and I are so pleased, though, that to have all of you good friends turn out to our 50th wedding anniversary. We just can't get over the kids putting this on for us, and of course asking us to give them an idea who we ought to invite. We would have loved to invite considerably sad on the things that you could make at the end of the mud road and giving us a chance to come to a high estate. My mother back there, 83 years old. I'm 93 years old. 93 years old, and if you know what she did for us 4 children there, And especially I'm so proud of how when I tiptoed to my dad to see whether he thought I should work another 4 or 5 years before I got married, pay some of that college support back, and how they put their arms around Grace and welcomed her into the family. And we worked together, all of us, over these years to right now. And it's sure been a pleasure, every single one of you, to know. And Grace and I have lived in this community about ever since we came up here, because we got married when we worked in the Bureau of Animal Industry. And I guess we moved 13 times in the first year and a half. But we did have time to bring Mary Jane along. Bring Sarah along. And I'll tell you though, our marriage has been like every other marriage. We've had to work at it and so forth, but we always, as Mary Jane said, we could see sunshine at the end of the tunnel, and it's been a wonderful life. I just think though, and I just want to point out to you people that are here, your grandchildren and all are the thing that you're finally working for. About 5 years ago, Grace and I went to Turkey, and I worked for the Turkish Jockey Club through the Volunteer Executive Service Corps for 6 weeks. And they wanted the wife and the husband to come because the primary thing was to spread the philosophy of democracy and private enterprise. And you should have seen over there how quick Grace had those children. We happened to, the hotel was near a quality school. Those kids in that school was trying to learn English. Well, they spotted Grace right off, and of course she spotted them. And the first thing I know, within 2 or 3 days, she was in the schoolhouse helping those kids with their English and so forth. But what I wanted to tell you also, I can't speak a word of Turkey, only to veterinary students. But, I had 2 interpreters out with me at the stud farm, and this stud manager, he had the best records I ever did see. And I could look him in the eye and almost tell as I was examining a mare everything he had down, because I could almost read it. But anyway, we were going out the roads to one of the big research farms there around Anchor, and we got to talking, of course, through the interpreter. And he said through the interpreter, Dr. Tharp, he said, we work for our grandchildren. I thought how universal that is. We work for our grandchildren. You can see Grace and I tonight here with one or so of them on her lap, and little Jessica here singing. And every one of them's got some talent of some kind that we think, oh, they're the greatest. And I think family life, that's one of the greatest things in this country that we're leaving fall. And I think we got to tear into this again and revive this family life. And Grace, I hope we got another 50 years.
It hasn't been a great 50 years. I didn't know it was that good. It was pretty good, but I didn't know it was that good. Anyway, I guess I'll try for another 25. And I do want to say thank you so much. Every one of you here means something special to us. We have such great friends from Florida here, from New York, from Michigan, Illinois. Oh, it's just been wonderful, and we certainly do appreciate you coming and sharing this really special time with us. And I'd like to just say to Marge Newman, thanks. She helped me with the flowers, and I do appreciate that. And Dr. Leach, he was Billy's right-hand man, or vice versa. He helped Billy a lot getting ready for this. And I do want to say thank you to our kids. Gosh, it was It's great. Yeah, we certainly do appreciate it.
Not everybody gets
It really makes life worth living when you got kids that'll do this for you.
I have been a little worried, though. I got 2 or 3 or 4 high school classmates in here. We graduated from Hemlock High School. That was down Perry County, wasn't it, Orp? See, that was down Perry County. Anyway, I got a college classmate here, but his, or 2 here, and his 50th was a year and a half, 2 years ago when we went down to it. And I've been worried ever since that because, well, I said to this particular student, I said, well, how'd your 50th wedding anniversary and honeymoon go? He said, oh, it was just great. It was just great. He said the only thing difference was, he said, this time I went in the bathroom and tried.
We have a couple of other quick thank yous, and then the servers are going to pour coffee, and the band is going to take this equipment and set up. In a few minutes, we'll be ready to either have coffee and cake, which we'll be cutting in a few minutes. And you can all wander out to the dance floor, and there are some tables out around the pool if you'd like to sit, if you'd like to watch dancing instead of dancing, whatever. I'd like to thank my little sister, Lolly, who engineered all of the hors d'oeuvres and made them. She is a student now at the Chicago Culinary School of Culinary Arts, and she got us all together yesterday, and we had probably one of the best times as sisters we've ever had making hors d'oeuvres for the party, and that was all Lolly's recipes, and Lolly organized the whole thing. Thanks, Lolly. I'd also like at this time to thank Michelle Horsfield for allowing, she's the gal that has the band, and she allowed us to use all the PA equipment for this part of the program, and we thank you very much, Michelle. So I'm going to say thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the evening.